Well, for the second consecutive night, we've seen homicide investigators and this BSO mobile command unit at the Tamarack Village apartment complex. Here, detectives are trying to get to the bottom of who killed a 23-year-old woman and why. Video shared with NBC6 shows a candlelight vigil held in honor of 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson Thursday night in Hollywood. Meanwhile, in Tamarack, BSO's investigation into her murder going on now for more than 30 hours at the Tamarack Village apartment complex where her body was found Wednesday.
She was just really sweet. She was the life of the party. She always had kind words.
The victim's friend and former employer, Swana Alphonse, speaking to NBC6 by phone Thursday night. She says Hodgson was a well-known South Florida bottle waitress and loved by many.
I was devastated. Most of my employees were as well, especially the ones that knew her and worked alongside with her. It's just crazy and it's scary because, you know, we're all bartenders and waitresses, and that could have been any one of us.
While detectives have not revealed the manner of death, family and friends say she was stabbed.
For all the family, all the friends, anyone that knew her, met her, just, you know, stay strong. Understand that she is in a better place and she wants us to celebrate her, I'm sure.
Investigators are asking anyone with information to come forward in this case, and you can remain anonymous by contacting Crime Stoppers. That number is 954-493-TIPS.
Yo guys, lend me your ears. Let me tell you something. July 13, 2022. A young woman starts her morning like any other. Maybe she looks in the mirror and smiles at the life she's building. That smile? It's the last one she'll ever give. By 3 p.m., someone calls 911. Blood everywhere. A throat sliced open. A beautiful life erased in her own apartment. But here's what makes this case different. The killer wasn't some stranger, wasn't some random break-in gone wrong. The person who did this had been watching, had been planning, had flown hundreds of miles with one purpose: murder. 2 women, 1 man, and a GPS tracker that would reveal the most calculated act of jealousy you've ever heard. This isn't just about a love triangle gone deadly. This is about what happens when obsession meets technology. When social media becomes a weapon, when someone decides that if they can't have what they want, then nobody can. This is the murder of Kayla Hodgson, and it all started with a lie nobody told. You're watching Shadow Crimes TV, where we bring true crime and domestic violence stories out of the shadows. Subscribe now and join us daily as we uncover the cases that demand to be heard. Don't just watch, be part of the conversation. This whole mess started the way too many stories like this do. A man telling half-truths, keeping secrets, acting like he was single when he wasn't. One woman believed what he was selling. Another woman sat at home watching it all play out on her phone screen. Her name was Sakina Thompson. She did nails on Long Island. Smart woman, making her money. But she was also the type who didn't bite her tongue. Her Instagram and TikTok were filled with posts showing off her relationship. Designer bags, expensive dinners, making sure everybody knew Terry belonged to her. And if you missed that message, she'd make sure you understood it real quick. See, for Sakina, this wasn't about being in love. This was about owning somebody. This was about keeping what was hers. So when she discovered another woman had gotten close to her man, she didn't just get mad, she got deadly. She didn't plan to argue. She didn't plan to leave him. She planned to kill. July 13, 2022. Kayla started her morning like any other. Maybe she texted someone good morning. Maybe she called her girls to make plans. Maybe she stood in front of her bathroom mirror, looking at herself, feeling good about the woman she was becoming. That smile in the mirror was the last one she'd ever give. A few hours later, somebody called 911 from those Tamarack Village apartments in Florida. They told the operator about a woman who was hurt badly. Blood was everywhere. Her throat was cut open. When the police got there, it was over. Kayla was on the floor of her own place, throat sliced from side to side. Her whole future erased. The person who did it was already gone. No broken windows, nothing stolen, just pure violence. The detectives knew right away this wasn't some random break-in. This wasn't a robbery that went sideways. This was personal. This was somebody's anger turned into murder. But who hated Kayla enough to do this? In the next few weeks, the puzzle pieces started coming together. A white Range Rover that didn't belong, a GPS tracker somebody had planted, a woman who flew from New York to Florida and back in less than 24 hours, right around the time Kayla died. Then they got a name, Sakina Thompson. By the time they figured it out, she was already back home in Queens. But the evidence kept piling up. Security cameras, social media posts, people who saw things, and the most damning thing of all, night she knew exactly where to find Kayla. She had been watching, she had been following, and when she got her chance, she took Kayla's life. This isn't some simple story about two women fighting over the same man. This is about control. This is about a woman who couldn't stand losing. This is what happens when somebody's lies catch up and innocent people pay the price. Kayla Hodgson never stole anybody's boyfriend. She wasn't playing games. She had no idea what she'd walked into. But to Sakina, none of that mattered. And to Terry, the man in the middle of all this chaos, it was just another day, just another lie, just another woman whose life got cut short. This is how a young woman with everything going for her fell for the wrong person and died because of it. A love triangle that turned into murder. A woman so filled with rage that she traveled hundreds of miles to kill her competition. This is the murder of Kayla Hodgson. And it all started with a lie nobody told. Kayla Hodgson wasn't trying to be famous. She wasn't chasing internet fame. She wasn't begging for attention. She just had that natural glow that drew people in. At 23, Kayla was already living the life most of her age were still chasing. She flew from city to city as a flight attendant. When her feet touched ground, she worked VIP events as a bartender. She had that magic touch, the kind that turned strangers into family before the night was over. But understand this, night she wasn't grinding just to get by. She was grinding to build something real, travel the globe, see everything, create something that would last. The crazy part, everyone around her knew she'd pull it off. She had that fire, the kind you can't fake and can't put out. Double shifts couldn't break her spirit. Red-eye flights couldn't dim her glow. Long nights behind the bar couldn't steal her joy. Walk into any room with Kayla, and you'd feel the shift. Her friends? She was their go-to person. The one who picked up the phone at 3 a.m. The one who showed up when nobody else would. Her coworkers saw her hustle. Professional, focused, funny as hell. She could work a packed bar, keep drinks flowing, and still check on how your mama was doing. To her family, she was pure light. The daughter who made them beam with pride. The sister who turned regular Sundays into celebrations. Check her Instagram. Check her TikTok. It's all right there. Pictures with her girls. Travel shots. Outfits that screamed confidence. Captions full of love and laughter. No subliminal posts about drama. No cryptic messages about heartbreak. Just a young black woman showing the world she was winning. A life she had every right to celebrate. Kayla was on her way up, building her empire, becoming the woman she was meant to be. But somebody was watching from the shadows. Somebody she'd never met. Somebody was planning to destroy everything she'd worked for. Because all that shine, all that success, all that joy, none of it mattered to the stranger who already wanted her dead. The strangest part, Kayla didn't have enemies. She had a secret she didn't know existed. A target on her back she never saw coming. July 2022. Miami called her name. A girl's trip. A chance to breathe. Sun, music, drinks, and freedom. The kind of weekend where anything could happen, where you might meet someone who changes everything. That someone turned out to be Terry. Smooth talker, fine as wine. The type who could sweet talk his way into anybody's heart. He made her laugh until her stomach hurt. Made her feel special in a world that rarely saw her. Kayla usually kept her walls up. She'd been disappointed before, but Terry felt different. Real maybe. They danced. They talked until sunrise. They connected on a level that surprised her. For the first time in a long time, she let herself hope. Let herself believe in possibility. In maybe something real. But Terry was playing a dangerous game. What Kayla didn't know, what he made damn sure she never found out, was that he didn't come to Miami solo. He brought somebody with him. Somebody who'd been holding him down for years. Somebody who thought she was his one and only. Her name was Sakina Thompson. Sakina was 28, a boss in the nail game from Long Island, New York. In her salon chair, she was untouchable. Clients came from everywhere for her work. They loved her precision, her attention to detail, her ability to make nails look like art. She built her reputation on perfection and control. But step outside that salon, whole different energy. She didn't hide who she really was. Hell no, she put it all on blast. Social media was her stage. She posted her work, sure, but she also posted her warnings, her threats. Her whole attitude is on full display. She called herself bold, fearless, and unapologetic. Cross her, the whole world would know what was coming your way. And she wasn't playing games. I'll go buy me a gun and come back and set this off. That wasn't whispered in anybody's ear. That was posted for everybody to see. Everything in Sakina's online world revolved around one man, Terry. Their relationship was a whole movie. Matching designer outfits, expensive birthday gifts, videos of them singing together, dancing, looking happy. From the outside, they looked perfect. The kind of couple that made you believe in love. But scroll down a little, you'd see the truth, because Sakina posted everything, the fights, the breakups, the toxic mess, dressed up as passion. It was messy as hell. Obsessive, on and off like a light switch. But to her, that chaos meant it was real. She made one thing crystal clear to anybody watching. Terry belonged to her. Period. If he stepped out, that wasn't just cheating. That was straight disrespect. And disrespect, that was something you handled. People knew her skills with nails, but they feared what would happen when she got angry. And nobody triggered her rage like Terry did. So when she found out Terry spent time in Miami with another woman, some chick she'd never heard of, never seen, never approved of, Nike in, all that fury, all that built-up poison found its target. Kayla Hodgson. Sakina didn't see an innocent girl who got caught up. She saw a home wrecker, a problem, a roadblock between her and her man. The moment Sakina got proof of Terry's betrayal, the game changed. This wasn't just personal anymore. This was public humiliation. And in her mind, somebody had to pay. She didn't go on social media ranting. She didn't blow up his phone. She got quiet. She got calculating. She got dangerous. First move, she planted a GPS tracker on Terry's white Range Rover. Smooth, silent, deadly. She wanted to know everything: where he went, when he went, who he saw, and that little device gave her exactly what she was looking for. From hundreds of miles away in New York, she watched Terry's every move, every route, every stop, until finally the signal led her straight to the woman she blamed for ruining her life. Kayla Hodgson. Now she had what she needed. Kayla's address. Time for the next move. Sakina booked a flight from New York to Florida. No second thoughts, no hesitation, pure purpose. She wasn't flying down there to talk. She wasn't going to work things out. She was going for blood. This was rage with the plan, calculated down to the minute. A woman betrayed, driven by ego and fury, ready to eliminate what she saw as the problem. This wasn't about love anymore. This was about murder. Thursday afternoon, Tamarack, Florida. Kayla opened her door for Terry earlier that day. They spent hours together, talking, laughing. The kind of afternoon that feels perfect. Normal, safe. Kayla had no clue someone was watching from the darkness. She had no idea what was coming. Terry left. That's when Sakina made her move. She had no business being there. Nobody invited her. But there she was. What happened next was caught on camera. A video that would haunt everyone who saw it. Sakina is in the hallway, shoe in her hand like a weapon, screaming, pounding on the door like she was trying to break it down. Kayla on the other side is fighting to keep that door closed, fighting for her life. Then silence. 3 p.m. sharp. A neighbor called 911. Panic in their voice. Someone was hurt badly. Blood was everywhere in the hallway. When the deputies got there, it was too late. Kayla was on her apartment floor, not moving. Her throat was cut from ear to ear, signs of a brutal fight all over her body, the kind of violence that leaves investigators shaken. The crime scene exploded with activity. Police cars, flashing lights, yellow tape cutting off the world. The quiet Tamarack complex turned into chaos. Neighbors pressed their faces to windows, terrified. Some pulled out phones to record the madness. Ambulances. Investigators are going in and out of Kayla's place. Nobody could process what they were seeing. Kayla Hodgson was gone. A beautiful, loving, bright young woman. Murdered, not just killed, but butchered. The violence was so savage that it left veteran detectives speechless. These weren't wounds from a fight. This wasn't somebody sending a message. This was a cold-blooded execution. Personal. Final, meant to destroy. But who had that kind of hatred for Kayla? Who could do something this evil? The apartment showed no break-in. Nothing was stolen. No signs of robbery gone wrong. Just one young woman, alone in her own space, silenced in the most brutal way possible. Detectives started knocking on doors, asking questions. One thing caught their attention immediately. A white Range Rover was parked outside Kayla's building. Nobody had seen it before. It didn't belong to anyone in the complex. The more they dug, the clearer the picture became. Neighbors remembered seeing Kayla with a man lately. A new face around the building. They didn't know his name, but they remembered that car. While Kayla's family was drowning in grief and disbelief, Sakina Thompson was already on a plane back to New York, and she wasn't traveling solo. Terry was right there with her. Both of them had vanished from Florida just hours after Kayla's body was discovered. No explanations, no accountability, just gone. While Kayla lay cold on the coroner's table, the two people connected to her death were hundreds of miles away, acting like nothing happened. But secrets don't stay buried forever. Days passed. The community was stuck between heartbreak and confusion. Why Kayla? Who would do this to her? How did whoever did it just disappear?
A community in shock after a woman is found dead in her Tamarack home tonight. Detectives are still gathering evidence at the apartment.
NBC6 reporter Ari Odzer joined us live from that scene. And Ari, people who knew her tell us her death was no accident.
Yeah, Trina, something horrible happened here yesterday. A young woman murdered viciously in her apartment, and Broward Sheriff's deputies haven't arrested anybody yet, and they won't say if they have a suspect in mind. Even for a homicide, it's rare to see such an active crime scene 24 hours after the murder.
Now, detectives with the BSO homicide unit are currently at the scene and are investigating the circumstances surrounding this death.
BSO detectives are trying to figure out who killed this woman and why. Her family and friends identified her as Kayla Hodgson. She was only 23 years old, and her death, as you would expect, has shocked her neighbors.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. We've been here 10 years and nothing like this has ever happened.
Never really have any crime, anything like this that I've ever heard or seen before. I live in an adjacent community, and me personally, I'm concerned of whether or not it was domestic violence or something that's random. Obviously, it's random, something to be concerned about.
Hodgson's family and friends told us they were still processing the tragedy and could not talk to us, but there are plenty of comments on her Instagram page. There are no words to describe the shock. This is real? Kayla was such a sweet person. Damn, rest in peace. Would it be offensive if I asked how she died? Some guy cut or slashed her throat in her apartment. Too many toxic males out there. OMG. BSO has not confirmed the manner of death or the potential scenario here. Family members said she was found stabbed to death.
My respects to the family. Terrible tragedy. Whatever happened. It's a lost soul.
No matter what the circumstances were, that's undeniably true. Again, Broward Sheriff's Office detectives have not made any arrests yet in this case.
But behind closed doors, investigators were working overtime. They pulled surveillance footage from every camera in the area. They analyzed phone records. They checked flight manifests and social media accounts. They followed every digital breadcrumb. Then they hit gold. The GPS tracker, the same device Sakina had secretly planted on Terry's Range Rover, was about to seal her fate. That tracker told the whole story, her exact location, her timing, every move she made that day. The evidence was terrifying in its precision. Flight from New York to Florida, arrival at the apartment complex, her presence outside Kayla's door. She escaped just hours after the murder. Every piece of the puzzle clicked into place with deadly accuracy. This wasn't a crime of passion. This was premeditated murder. July 25th, 2022. The Broward County Sheriff's Office issued an arrest warrant for Sakina Thompson, almost 2 weeks after she'd taken Kayla's life. August 3rd came fast. U.S. Marshals and NYPD officers showed up in Queens, New York. Sakina was living in Springfield Gardens like she hadn't murdered anyone. No running, no fighting. They arrested her without incident and held her without bond. Florida wanted her back. Extradition happened quickly. A grand jury looked at the evidence and didn't hold back. They found that Sakina had acted with a depraved mind, without regard for human life, and with clear premeditated intent to take Kayla's life. This wasn't the heat of the moment. This was control, vengeance, pure obsession.
An arrest in New York City. This after a young woman was killed last month inside her apartment in Tamarack. The Broward Sheriff's Office announced that the suspect, Sakina Thompson, is now in custody. CBS 4's Peter O'Dinch joins us live from the Tamarack Village complex with the very latest on this story. Peter.
Well, Naja, BSO says that the suspect was arrested in a neighborhood in Queens. That was 3 weeks after the homicide here. It's also where residents are relieved.
I feel terribly bad that happened to her.
Shayla Hernandez was horrified by the murder of her neighbor, identified by friends and family members as 23-year-old Kayla Hodgson. On July 25th, a warrant was issued for 28-year-old Sakina Thompson. She was arrested on Wednesday in New York City.
Making an arrest makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
BSO is not saying what led them to their suspect, but an arrest affidavit says Sakina Thompson was demonstrating a depraved mind without regard for human life by stabbing with a sharp object with a premeditated intent to cause death.
I am very happy to hear about it because we were scared. We heard different stories from different people, and I happen to live on the floor above her, so I'm very happy. It makes me feel a lot better and more secure that they finally arrested somebody.
Court dates got scheduled for months away. Then boom, A bombshell that brought this case right back to the front page. Sakina Thompson was pregnant. The same woman who allegedly hunted down and murdered Kayla was now carrying Terry's baby. She was sitting in jail, facing murder charges, with life growing inside her. The news hit the community like a freight train, not just because of the timing, but because of what she did next. Sakina wrote a letter to the judge, a personal plea asking to be released on bond. She talked about her pregnancy, worried about jail conditions, said she needed proper medical care and humane treatment. The court looked at her request and said, hell no. Motion denied. She was staying locked up. The pregnancy would continue behind bars. People didn't know how to feel. The reactions came fast, and they were split down the middle. Some folks asked about the innocent child. Should a baby be punished for crimes it had nothing to do with? Others couldn't get past the brutality. How could someone who allegedly killed in cold blood turn around and ask for mercy? But the question that haunted everybody was deeper. Was this baby made before the murder or after? And if it was after, did Terry know what Sakina had done when he got intimate with her again? No easy answers. Just anger, confusion, and the sinking feeling that this tragic story had just gotten even darker. February 2023. It happened. Sakina gave birth while still in custody. A new life entering the world in the shadow of a life that had been violently stolen. A baby born behind prison walls. Born into chaos. Born into newspaper headlines and social media debates. When it came time to decide custody, the court made its call. The baby went to Terry, the same man who'd been juggling two women. One is now in the ground. The other is now in chains. A child was now forever connected to this bloody story. No matter what happened in court, this baby's life would always be marked by violence. The headlines stopped. The news trucks drove away, but the pain stayed. Kayla Hodgson's family was destroyed. Her friends couldn't breathe. Her community couldn't understand. How do you process a murder this senseless? There were no warning signs, no slow decline. One day Kayla was alive, laughing, making plans. The next day she was gone. Her people did what grieving families do. They lit candles, released balloons into the sky, held vigils with her picture, praying her memory would live on even though her body was gone. Photos of Kayla covered the sidewalks. People wore t-shirts with her face. Complete strangers cried for her even though they'd never met her. Social media became a place to mourn. She was my best friend. I still don't believe it. Why did this happen? The questions rang louder than any answers could. A GoFundMe was set up to help with funeral costs and support her family. The donations flooded in. Over $115,000 raised. Love and support from everywhere. But even all that generosity, all that community love, couldn't touch the real truth. No amount of money brings back a daughter. No amount of kindness fills the silence where laughter used to be. No donation can turn back time. Her loved ones kept fighting for justice. They sat through every court delay, every legal motion, every update. They watched as the woman accused of killing Kayla stayed in the headlines with every new twist. But right now, the trial is still waiting. No conviction yet. No sentence. No real closure. Just candles burned down to nothing, and a hole in every life Kayla touched. What happened to Kayla wasn't just about violence. It was about ego, about entitlement, about obsession dressed up as love. This wasn't two women fighting over the same man. This was one woman who had no clue what was happening, and another woman who'd lost her damn mind. Kayla never knew she was the other woman. She didn't scheme. She didn't steal. She didn't compete. She just existed in a space someone else decided she had no right to be in. To Sakina, that was reason enough to kill her, because jealousy, when you let it fester, becomes poison. Obsession, when you don't check it, becomes a deadly weapon. And when betrayal meets rage in someone already on fire, the result is destruction. Kayla had dreams, she had happiness, she had people who adored her, and she had no idea someone far away was already planning to take it all. So the question isn't just why this happened, it's deeper than that. What happens when love becomes a weapon? When an innocent woman becomes collateral damage in somebody else's war? When staying quiet becomes deadly? Kayla was beautiful, she was kind, and now she's gone. May her story live forever. May her name remind us that nobody should die just for loving the wrong person. Thanks for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We bring you true crime stories daily, cases you know and ones you don't. Stay with us as we shine a light on shadowed stories that need to be heard.